Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. And today we're reviewing the new Popflex Seamless collection. So seamless activewear is definitely tough to do, especially as a brand that normally does non-seamless activewear. So if you're unfamiliar with seamless activewear, it's generally like a super stretchy knit material. And seamless doesn't necessarily mean that there's no seams. It's just like the way that it's knit together. And I generally find seamless very hit or miss. So I'm excited to review this and to see how it is. I've seen a couple comments saying you want more Popflex reviews, so this is it. Let me know what else you guys would like to see more of this year in the comments down below. And if you're not already subscribed, make sure to do so. And without further ado, let's start talking about the seamless. So there's a couple different types of seamless activewear. There's kind of like the thicker, more durable, kind of like not as stretchy seamless. I think like Gymshark, where the pros are that it is very durable, very long lasting, but the cons are maybe it doesn't give you quite as much stretch as you want. And then there's the like Alpha Elite Amplify type seamless that's super stretchy, very lightweight, very easy to move in, very flattering on the glutes. But the con is that the fabrics can be a little bit more delicate. Like I work out with lifting gloves on certain days and those do have Velcro. So if that Velcro ever snags on the leggings, you are gonna get a pull. So I definitely lean towards the Amplify style seamless. I'm all about stretchiness, freedom of movement, and I know how to be careful with my leggings. It's not like you can't wash and wear these leggings. I have Amplifies that I've worn so many times. I wash them every time I wear them, and I have no pilling or anything like that, but you just have to be careful. The Popflex Seamless definitely feels like it's leaning a little bit more towards the Gymshark style seamless, so it looks very thick and it almost has that vintagey wash feel. At least for the leggings, that's what I'm getting, but the tops are very much like a rib. So here's the material for the leggings. You can see very densely knit, but the tops are definitely more of a like ribbed style material. And to me, the first thing that I think of when I pull up these pieces is definitely like Free People style seamless, like almost that little vintagey wash. And Free People does do a lot of seamless. I have tried Free People movement on this channel before. Generally not a huge fan of it, but I think Popflex does a really good job with their designs, so we'll see how this is. It's usually not this early in the video that we get a Peach appearance. Hello. She thinks that she's hungry. Yesterday I baked some cookies and I naively thought I could leave them on the counter for 10 minutes while they cooled down. Mind you, she had just eaten lunch, so she shouldn't have been hungry. I came back and 5 of the cookies were gone, and there were greasy little cookie paw prints and crumbs all over the counter. Do you have any regrets, miss? Don't worry, she's fine. Her stomach was a little upset, but she's good. So the Popflex ribbed seamless fabric is a 93% nylon, 7% spandex, and their sizing for the seamless is different than their normal size. Normally they have extra small to 3XL. With seamless, you have to have like a separate like loom or like machine something to knit each of the seamless sizes. So instead of just like putting pieces of fabric together in different sizes, like you need a whole different piece of equipment for each size. So they have an extra small flex, mid flex, curve flex, extra curve flex. So since seamless is normally nice and stretchy, usually there's a little bit of flexibility with sizing. I believe I got all small flexes, but I'm normally a small. If I want a comfort fit, I should just be small flex. So I got the small flex. We'll see. I'll try to give as much sizing advice as I can, but I will say if you are more in the 2XS or extra small, or on either end of the size chart, like the extra smalls or like the 2 to 3XL, I think the seamless may not fit you super well. Also, if I'm talking a little bit weird, I have a canker sore, and every time I move my lips, it hurts, so very fun. All right, let's start out with the Crisscross Hourglass seamless leggings. So they took kind of their normal Popflex legging styles, but made them into the seamless fabric. A seamless transition from the legging to the waistband, but this legging, a separate ribbed waistband is sewn on to the legging, which I actually kind of like because sometimes the body of the legging doesn't have a whole lot of compression or hold, and the waistband, like you can use a little bit more hold. But we have that ribbed detail at the top. Okay, scratch that when I first mentioned the seamless material. Looks like there are different compositions for different items. The leggings are 76% nylon, 24% spandex. I was gonna say 7% spandex, didn't seem like a lot. This is more spandex, which is good because we need that stretch. All right, so here is the waistband. You have that crisscross detail, that ribbing goes down into a V in the front and gives you a little extra lower tummy control because it dips down. In the back, they still did those contouring glute seams, so I'm excited for that. And they also have what I call a raised pseudo seam in the back. So I call it a pseudo seam because it's not a real seam. It's like an artificial little like raising of the fabric. It kind of helps separate the glutes a little bit more visually because seamless can definitely be very unibutt-y. And I just prefer, you know, know, my cheeks to be separate, you know? I don't always need a scrunch, but I don't want it to look like one cheek, you know, the unibutt look. So I'm hoping these have enough stretch and contouring to allow for a little bit of that. They also have that ribbed detail at the ankle, a semi-extended crotch gusset. I also like the branding on these. It's a tonal silicone branding kind of at the back left area. So I'm a fan of that. In 2024, I'm all about the tonal branding. I don't want white branding on my legging. Okay, so here are the leggings. And first thing I'm noticing is this little waistband. It kind of likes to like poke out a little bit. So I feel like this fabric isn't really sitting like where it should be. I don't know. I feel like the ribbed fabric is almost so thick that having 4 layers of it in this little area here is just too much for the fabric. First, overall thoughts on sizing. This is the small flex that kind of put me in between the extra small flex and the small flex. And I feel like they're sliding down because I don't have any hold in the waistband. Like this waistband is giving me very, very light compression. I wouldn't even really call it compression. So because of that, I feel like the leggings are kind of sliding down a little bit. Getting these on my legs was quite the ordeal. The fabric, it just needs more stretch. Like this is the kind of legging where you're gonna be squatting and you're gonna feel all that tightness in the legs. I told you guys at the beginning that this type of seamless just isn't really my favorite for that reason. The actual fabric itself is very durable, but it doesn't really contour the curves. It doesn't really give you that functional stretch that I look for in an activewear piece. So for that reason, these are just not really gonna be it for me. It also makes the sizing a little complicated because I need it to be smaller in the waist so that it stays up, but the legs just don't have enough stretch for me to ever size down. Other than that, I would still consider this a high rise, even though it does dip down a little bit in the waistband here. It still fits well in the front. I don't feel like I'm getting any weirdness in the crotch. I love the tonal branding, so subtle, but still there. And then in the back, we are unfortunately getting a unibutt seamless. Again, with this fabric not really having that stretch to contour the curves, it just kind of like pancakes everything. And sure, we have the pseudo seam, but that doesn't really provide any separation. This just feels very like 2018 seamless to me. It's not really what I'm looking for. And I don't know, maybe it's just not my cup of tea, but I don't really feel like I see a lot of people wearing this type of seamless anymore. So we can see the glutes just kind of look like one piece here. There's not really any separation. And you know, I could try to pull it up my glutes and sure, maybe it would last a second, but you do a couple steps and it's right back to where it was. Like a medium booty scale, it's not helping or hurting. I think these are hurting a little bit. We do have those curved seams, so I like that they still incorporated those, but they are sitting a little bit low. I think that's mostly because this legging is kind of sliding down a little bit. They should be sitting a little bit higher, but there's no compression or support in the waistband to make it sit higher up. And then with the fabric just not really doing the most in the back. One thing you will get out of these leggings is cellulite coverage. There is a little bit of a texture to the fabric because it almost has that little like acid wash look. The fabric's also really thick. It's got a lot of hold to it. So a good thickness for hiding any cellulite dimpling in the legs. Overall compression, I would say like medium high compression in the base. And again, low compression at the top. I thought I was gonna like this cross waistband more, but I just don't really think it's working for the seamless. And then we have a full length view. I think these are a little bit short. Again, I tried to kind of pull them up a little bit so the legs aren't looking like they're matching right now, but I just feel like these are not doing anything for me. You know, I don't look at myself in the mirror in this little video and think, wow, like these are flattering on me, and I'm just not gonna wear leggings that don't flatter me, you know? So definitely a little bit on the shorty girl side, which is okay. I don't think these came in multiple lengths, which normally Popflex does. Overall, the cons are outweighing the pros, and these are gonna be a no for me. We have the Hook It Up Seamless Bra. I find it a little bit of a stretch to call this a bra because it is just a single layer of fabric, and frankly it's just not really going to be super supportive. So I would have liked to see maybe a built-in liner with cup pads into this because this is more giving like tank to me. So we have a ribbed fabric, racer back, kind of a more long line structure. So here's an up close of the fabric, and the whole thing has this hook and eye closure in the front. It doesn't go all the way down, so you can't like put it on like a vest and then snap it up. You do still have to make it go over your head because it doesn't go all the way to the bottom, but kind of a cute little detail. Let's try it on. All right, here is this bra. So this one I feel like I could probably do this size or the extra small flex. I just feel like I have maybe a little bit of extra fabric in some places and not super compressed or held in. So for this one, if you want a little bit more compression, choose the smaller size. If you wanted a little bit more of a relaxed fit, choose the bigger size. I feel like this whole sizing situation, because it's a small, I can be like an extra small flex. I don't know. Anyways, we have this wide scooped neckline, good side boob coverage, but with this scooping, I feel like it's more of a medium coverage. We have this little hook closure detail. I probably would mostly keep it closed, in which case I don't feel like it's adding a ton to the design, but at least it's not uncomfortable. I thought it was going to be a little bit itchy below, but it's lined with actually a soft material, so it is still very comfortable. The support is pretty light on this one. Again, I think that might also be due to the sizing. If I had the extra small flex, I think I would be held in a little bit more, but there's no cut pads or anything. It's not really a bra for me. So to call this a sports bra is a bit of a stretch. It's really more of a kind of like lounge athleisure bralette. Is it going to fit my larger cup sizes? Yes, because we do have all of this space that can be taken up for the bust, but I think it's a little bit more aimed towards smaller cup sizes and more of like a lightweight kind of vibe. And then we have the racer back, not feeling any discomfort with this. So is it cute? Yes, I like the ribbed detail. I feel like it's going to do a good job. I like the ribbed detail. I feel like it's very comfy. Probably not something I would reach for a lot just because I prefer things with built-in bras, but definitely not bad. Next, we have a crop top. This is the Let's Go Seamless Crop. This one is $44. I also got the small flex size. So this one feels a little bit softer, almost a little bit more cottony than the other seamless bra. And this one I think definitely leans a little bit more towards lifestyle. So like in the summer, if you just want to wear like a little ribbed tank, like a little basic, but I know it's hard to hide bras under things like this. This actually has a built-in liner and it's really soft on the inside and it has space for cup pads, but they did not put cup pads in there. And if you ask me, if you're going to put a cup pad hole, just include the cup pads. I can take them out if I want, but if I have to go like find separate cup pads to put in, I just find that a little bit more of a challenge. So I don't know, personally, I think just include the cup pads, but I think this type of top is really good to have, very versatile. I think of it as more of a lifestyle piece, and you can see the fabric here and the little nice soft fabric kind of around the armholes, so it should be very comfortable. All right, here's the tank. The sizing feels better on this one, and I like this fabric as well. Again, it's just like a little bit more cottony, a little bit softer. This one is definitely super comfy. I think you could go either way on the sizing for this one, so I could either do that extra small flex or the small flex. Kind of scoops in around the shoulders here, leaves me a little room at the neck. This one, again, does have that built-in lining on the inside with room for cup pads, but no cup pads are included. And then we have the racer back. Again, that fabric along the arm area is very soft, so this is going to be very comfortable. So in the description on the website, it says that this has a t-shirt hem, which is longer in the back, but I feel like this little curved in the front is a little bit too exaggerated for me and almost looks like extra fabric flap. So I'm just not really sure about this little scooping around the sides. I would like it maybe if it was like a little bit more subtle, but let me know what you guys think. I just was kind of surprised putting it on. I didn't expect it to be so pronounced. All right, then we have some shorts. We have the Supersculpt Seamless Midi shorts. So they have this waistband style in the leggings, and they also have the crisscross style for the shorts. It just kind of depends what your preference is, but very similar structure to the leggings. We have that sewn on ribbed waistband. This one definitely seems like it's going to be a higher rise. They're a 5-inch inseam, which I think is a really nice in between. I generally prefer a 6-inch, but I definitely can do a 5. Sometimes these seamless don't have quite enough room in the thighs, so we'll see. It feels pretty stretchy though. Then we still have the contoured seams around the glutes and that little raised seam in the back. All right, here are the shorts. Definitely could not do the extra small flex, so I would definitely follow their comfort sizing, which just makes me feel like these are really not going to be as size inclusive as they're making it seem on the size chart. So we have a pretty high rise. It does go a good ways above the belly button. I really love the stretchiness of this waistband, but it's kind of the opposite of what I thought. I thought it was going to be a little more stretchy in the base and a little more compressive in the waistband. It's actually stretchy in the waistband, but compressive in the body. So that's kind of like the opposite of what I would normally look for. I don't love like so much compression in the waistband that it's like sausaging you, but I just feel like the waistband isn't holding me in as much as I'd like, and this fabric at the bottom does feel pretty stiff. So I would say they're sitting pretty nicely in the front. We're not getting too much like Barbie crotch action going on. The 5-inch inseam is a good length for me, and I feel like the front all looks good. It's when we get to the back where my concerns have kind of become actualized. So I appreciate that they added these curved seams to kind of make it, to give me a little more shape in the back. back, but this fabric is very stiff and just doesn't really contour to your curves at all. Doesn't really give a lot of movement either. Like, it feels very tight. And we can see that we are getting total unibutt, pancake butt, just not what I like to look for in leggings. And not every legging needs to be a high on the booty scale, but I don't wear low on the booty scale. Honestly, just like in my collection, I would never reach for that. And I do feel squished down here. I feel like you can also see the fabric is so stiff at the bottom with that inseam that it almost is creating a little double butt situation down there. And I definitely do have that occasionally. That's just like a part of my body, but normally it's not accentuated by activewear and it's just a little bit uncomfortable. So we can see the raised pseudo seam just not really doing much. Guys, okay, I'm gonna need your help in the comments. Is it low to medium or is it just low? Because I don't think these even deserve a medium. Medium is kind of like baseline, not helping or enhancing the glutes. When we start to get below that, we're like taking away from the glutes a little bit. The seams are above the glutes though, so it could be worse. It could be worse. It just could be much, much better. And again, I just don't really feel like these are going to be the most functional because they are feeling very tight. This fabric is just not really stretchy enough for me. Getting into the basics, overall for sizing, I definitely would follow the comfort sizing. Size up if in between. Definitely don't size down, especially if you have thighs, because you are going to be sausaged up. And compression, I would say overall compression in the base, it's like a medium to high. The waistband is really more of like a low to medium compression. So I just feel like overall not feeling like my best self in these, and they're definitely not really something that I would reach for. I just like a lot more stretch in my leggings. However, this material does feel very durable, at least the base material. I have noticed a couple snags on this little ribbed material though. All right, the last seamless piece, this is the What's the Scoop seamless bra. And these are the only two bras launching in this collection. And neither of them for me are like really bras. They're more like bralette kind of style, maybe more lifestyle tank. I don't know. Just to have two bras and have neither of them have cup pads or any like real support. I just wish that they had something that offered a little bit more. So this one is fully made of that ribbed material. Cute little spaghetti straps. The straps are adjustable, which I love to see. And here's an up close of the fabric, as well as an up close of that little logo in the back. All right, here is the bra. Again, really more of a bralette for me, but I'm actually pleasantly surprised with the compression and just overall support I'm getting from it. I expect it to be very, very low support, like not even wearable for me, but because the ribbing is nice and kind of tightly knit, I'm actually getting a solid like low to medium on the compression. The coverage is actually pretty good too. I feel like this is, if your bust is a little bit smaller, it's gonna be more of like a long line tank kind of style, but for me, it's kind of fitting more like a bra. And the overall coverage is about medium to full. I would say I'm pretty covered. My only thing is that it is a little cold today. Getting some nippage going on just because there are no cup pads. There's no room for cup pads. So again, I just find it a little bit of a stretch to call this a bra, but that doesn't mean that it's bad. It's actually very comfortable, very stretchy, cute. Coverage is good. We do have these adjustable straps. I thought they'd be a little bit more uncomfortable, and they're definitely not the most comfortable straps, but they're really not too bad. I think I could wear this for a longer period of time and be okay. I love that the straps are adjustable in the back. Again, I think this might be more of like a yoga or lifestyle piece almost. Not as much of a workout bra, but I do like the stretch of this material. I will say there is a little snag in the fabric so far, and it actually came like that delivered to me. So in terms of the fabric durability, the like body of the leggings and shorts, very durable and snag resistant, but the more stretchy ribbed material can definitely be snagged. And I noticed this with Free People movement as well. It's kind of similar fabrics. So overall, this type of seamless just isn't really my style. This is very comfy, but again, the durability could be questioned for this ribbed material right here. And lastly, this is not part of the seamless collection, but I got it and just felt like I should include it in the review. This is the Find Your Inner Fleece jacket. And picking this thing up, this is a dense jacket, which honestly, it's been very cold lately. I know I'm in Arizona, but it's been like 30 degrees in the morning, like below freezing. Anyways, I got this in a size small. Generally, Popflex jackets are a bit oversized. And if there's one thing that Popflex loves, it's pockets. So we have two zip pockets in the front here, a little zip pocket on the right breast area, this little ribbed cottony material up here, and this feels like it's going to be very warm. Thick kind of Sherpa-y fleece with little cuffs at the arms. Big oversized hood, but it can be detached. There's little buttons that you can detach it, which is good because I often don't like a hood. I just feel like it's like too much in the back. Anyways, so let's try this on. All right, let's get this fleece on. So in general, I feel like a lot of their outerwear is really good quality, really nice, but definitely runs oversized. So this is a small, and she's definitely a puffy, oversized vibe, but that's definitely what they're going for. And I do like an oversized vibe from time to time, so I definitely will get some use out of this. Okay, so with this zipped up, we can see just how wide this is. Tons of space. There's also a little bit of a bat wing going on here. So if you want a more snug fit, there's so much fabric in the armpits that it almost feels like too much. Anyways, if you want a more snug fit, I definitely would go with like 2 to 3 sizes down. I feel like I could easily do an extra small, maybe even extra small, and still have some space. We have those elongated cuffs at the end here that I feel like I could probably roll up once and still have like a cute little cuffed look. Oh, they have thumb holes. You guys know I love a thumb hole. So we have that zip pocket here. We have the 2 pockets in the front. Very spacious. I love that they are zippered pockets because that keeps them nice and secure. You know your stuff's gonna stay in there. They also have these little drawstrings at the bottom if you want to cinch it in a little bit. I feel like this is cute with the oversized vibe. The hood and the neck also lay open very flat, which is nice. I don't like when things get too close to my face, especially if I have makeup on. Like I don't want my collar getting makeup on it. The hood is huge. It takes up like my entire back. So I'm gonna pop that off in a second. But also the length of this, I love a length that hits like right at the hip bones. It's not really cropped, but it's also not like covering your butt. So it just gives like a little bit more shape. They love an oversized hood at Popflex. And here she is without the hood. Just like a little popped collar detail. This is definitely how I would wear it. And I think I'm gonna wear this to work this week. It's been a little cold. I can always use a little layering piece. And if I'm doing my notes when it's cold, I just pop this on, keep nice and cozy in the office. So I feel like they do a great job on their jackets. Just be aware that the sizing is very large and lots of room, but it's also good if you're layering anything underneath it. There's a ton of room in the sleeves. All right guys, that's it for the review. I started off this video by saying that seamless is really hard to do, and it truly is. There are so many seamless leggings out there that I just feel like really flop. And unfortunately, I just was not a big fan of this collection. The sizing is a little bit off. The fabrics aren't quite what I wanted them to be. Like no compression in the waist, but really tight in the legs. Just not the most functional, stretchy fabrics. And I just overall didn't find it super flattering. Normally, I think Popflex does a great job of creating very flattering designs, and they're really always thinking of the little details. But I think the seamless just fell a little bit flat. Let me know if you guys have tried this collection, what you guys think in general. Maybe I'm being too harsh, but when it comes to Popflex, I definitely would stick to their normal styles with their non-seamless leggings. I think they do a great job of those. Much better size range too, with multiple lengths. I did like the jacket though, and it is very cozy. Let me know what you guys would like to see next in the comments down below. If you haven't already, make sure to give a video a thumbs up and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!